Thank you.
And maybe we move on to our fourth speaker, because we can see we're already an hour into our discussion. And I think very intriguing as well. We have touched on some very interesting aspects in terms of the different efforts that are taking place at different levels, from a local level, and also looking at different initiatives that are happening, as Filippo and Elisa have also highlighted. And maybe I just come to you, Rafeek, Ravuther, as I introduce you, Rafeek, just to say that Rafeek is the founder and executive director of the Center of CIMS, and he's the director of a TV show called The Migrants World. I will not try to pronounce the original word that one is, but I think he can tell us a bit more. But most importantly, Rafeek has been investigating cases of missing migrants as a media person, and also working really as a rights activist for the past 20 years. And through this show, Migrants World, he has managed to rescue and rehabilitate approximately 5,000 missing migrants in the last 20 years. He has a deep understanding about irregular migration channels, and he understands, the different rules and the regulations that are there in major countries of destination, and has well received a lot of support from various volunteers and advocates, as well as rights activists in the space, both in the country destinations and also in the home countries of these migrants, which has obviously been very crucial to the organization. And Rafeek, as you come on, listening to the other speakers, maybe you could just join in and give and share with us from your experience in helping these families, to search and also to locate their missing relatives who migrated from different parts of India into various parts of the world. Would you just give us what role civil society organizations have played in your work in terms of realizing Objective 8? And then also coming on to the show that you produce that does this very important work of locating and rescuing those who are trapped and the missing migrants. Could you just discuss a bit how the media can contribute to existing progress in terms of achieving Global Compact Objective 8, and then also touch a bit on the challenges that you have faced as being part of the civil society network in this space. Thank you, Rafeek.
Hello, I think you can hear me. My version may be a little bit different from the others, because from the Mexican and European version of missing is during their travel or trying to reach their destination countries, etc., etc. My version is a little bit different. Like people who are trying to migrate during they are missing, maybe during their transit and after migration and a post-migration stage. These three stages, large number of cases actually from this type of migrants. And what I did is I started a TV program. Apart from the other programs, it was just a program for the television channel 20 years before. And we have several cases of in Kerala. I don't know whether you know about my place. It's Kerala. That time, and still we are sending a large number of migration to Middle East and the other part of the world. Actually, our migration started to other parts, Ceylon, Burma, and the other countries. But later, most of our people travel to Middle East after the oil time. So what I did is we have several issues of missing people who are not contacting back home cases. So what we did is we started to take up the version of the families to a TV camera. They will share their issues, like their dear ones who left them are not contacting them, and they are looking for them, and there is no contact for long years. This kind of issues we take before a camera, and this was widely telecasted, broadcasted in all around the world. And our large number of viewers are from Middle East, and the viewers themselves started to find out these missing cases. And this uh, uh, and our diaspora organization, we have a very strong diaspora organization in Middle East. They also helped us to find out this missing person. This is the way we started actually this program, and this was very new for everyone, because uh, up to that time, people thought about people who are going abroad was having very good life, and they are getting better salary, they don't have any issues. That was the belief until the program started in August 2000. But when we started to take up the case issues of migrant workers who are who are missing, who are not contacting back home, their families issues, how this family is struggling, this type of issues actually created a basic understanding about uh, there are issues, maybe during the transit, maybe after migration, maybe post migration. And during these 20 years, we through the television we are attended around 2,800 cases of missing. And apart from this television show, we are also attended different cases, and it's coming around 5,000. And we don't actually, Paddy said the wrong thing. We don't have that much rescues. We attended around 5,000 cases, but around 50-60% of our enquiries search was success. And but still the 40% is still missing, mostly in Middle East. We have missing cases in even US, Europe, and other parts of the world also. Around 80 cases in Singapore, and 120 cases in Malaysia. We have a large number of cases in other parts of the world, but most largely in Middle East. Uh, 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 Through this investigation, through this searching experience, we found that how people are missing. What is the reason for missing? We found that a large number of people are still looking for betterment of their life. They are thinking the Middle East or the other part of the other, some countries are giving very good opportunities for them. They will get more salary. The life is better than their place. So there is a rush for migration. A large number of migrants are people are trying to migrate for betterment of their life. And this is the major issue. We found that a competition is there. People somehow, if the middleman or the travel agent or any other person if giving a false information or a false promise, they are believing it. So they will not think about the genuineness of the right, the information is right or wrong. They will jump into that. But in reality, in life, they are ending up in trouble. Sometimes they are in Middle East, most cases they are ending up in desert or isolated places, and in different conditions. uh, so they don't want to communicate back, and they don't have a chance to communicate back. And sometimes the kafala system, you know that and most of you, I think you know that the sponsorship system prevailing in Middle East is called kafala. It is entitled with the sponsor or a company. So there is restriction for the migrant, this person. He cannot move freely. He cannot leave his employer. His documents are with the employer. So when he is having issues, at least either he or she has to uh, accept it. Otherwise, if he is responding to if he want to jump out of that situation, he will be end up in trouble. So the employer will put him in absconding stage, and the guy, the person is thinking that if he caught by police or the law, he will end up in jail or and more a maximum different situation. So we don't want to appear before the society. In such condition also, people are absconding, and they are not able to communicate, getting back to home. And the other things are the female migrant domestic workers. Female migrant domestic workers are very limited chance of getting communication. Like most of them are not allowed to use mobile phones or any other communications. And you know the system in Middle East, most of these houses are uh, making walls for them. They cannot go outside. They cannot go freely. Their mobility is restricted. They can move with the employer or the the family of the employer. But there is no freedom for movement, and if these domestic workers want to come out of this situation, they don't have any document, because this all document is with the employer. So they have to uh, they have to limit their movement in some homes. This is also another big issue for this thing. And some in some time, people who are end up in arrest or detention or in jail, they will they will slowly lose their communication. And we know that you all I don't know whether you know that in Middle East, most of this arrest or detention or people who are in ending up judicial system, it is not actually reporting to the origin country's missions. These people who are in detention or in prison, this data is actually not with the origin country mission. So this is also one area of people who are not having any communication with the families. And the other major issue is trafficking, because the middleman or the agents who are bringing these migrant workers are putting them in a situation like sometimes they don't have any documents, and sometimes they are making false documents for these people. So when the worker or the person ending up in the destination country is finding that he is actually in a different world. He don't have any document. He is not the person when he started his journey. So naturally he's ending up in uh, a absconding stage. Uh, uh, Maybe we found that during these early years, what is the biggest challenges we faced during? Uh, Personally, I found that there is no coordination between origin country and destination country on any other matter of the data or the person's life. India, we are sending a large number of migrant workers, but the number still we don't have. And the destination countries, sometimes Saudi Arabia and the other countries, releasing a certain a number periodically, but this number is not matching. The excess number which the destination country is showing is actually the sending country's number is not matching. Sending country is saying that this much number only we have, and the destination country is saying that this much number we have. Your Indians, this much we have. So the thing is that there is a mismatch between the data, and there is no coordination between, as I said earlier, people who are end up in detention or prison. There is no sharing data between embassy missions and the destination country. And earlier I said the false identity. People who went through false documents, or people who are trafficked, they will naturally having a false identity. When we are inquiring about this person, we don't have any data on the person we are inquiring. I remember one case. There is a flight crash in northern part of Kerala, and the airline company, after this crash, airline company announced a sum of money for this died persons, and the family received this money, but around 10 persons family was not presented for getting this compensation, because this 10 family means 10 person died was having false documents. There is no family for them. These documents were actually forged. So it's a story from north side of Kerala, and still people are using forged documents to migrate, and their identities maybe it is not in any part of the world. And the third issue we faced largely is with geography. Geographical situations, because large number of migrants are ending up in deserts or interiors, and they don't have any communication. Even my program, the television channel or phone or any method of reaching out them. Even our social diaspora organization, they don't have any access to these interior places. But we managed to find out several cases in such occasions also in different time. That is history. Mm, and the third and fourth thing is unidentified corpses. Like I remember one case we attended. Around 4 persons were missing in Saudi Arabia, Kobar area, and we were trying to find out them for 4 years, and we were not getting any answer from our side, our diaspora person side, or diaspora leader side, or any information from the viewers also. These 4 years passed, and later this story came out that these all four were uh, buried lively, and it was done by three Arab uh, persons. Because of this died person were preparing some illicit liquor, and it is actually against the law. And these three Arabs done it a very cruel manner, that they beaten them and buried lively. So for 4 years there was no trace out of any information on these persons whereabouts. And people tend to remain, that is the saddest thing. A large number of people doesn't want to call back or communicate to their families, because of their situation is very bad at in destination countries. They started from home for a big hope, but they ended up in very different situations. So they don't want to communicate back to home, and they don't want to share their experience with their family. This is the issue of a few a large number of people. They just want to abscond themselves. They want to remain uh, absconded, purposeful hiding. That is the
Mhm.
issue.
Rafeek,
These are the things I just want to share right now. Maybe I can
mhm.
share something more later.
I was going to say, I think you have brought us to another side of the coin, which was very interesting, is to understand the motivations of migrants that could be alive and accounted as missing. In understanding what kind of motivations are there, and I think it was also important to bring in that gender dimension, and the issue that's related to being in a situation of some of them being actually victims of trafficking and enforced labor, and what that also means in terms of communication and them being accounted as missing persons. I also thought that it was really interesting the kind of work that you have done as a media, through this media program that goes really as far, and also trailing down 4 years down, to try and identify and then get to the root of what really happens to these migrants that remain unaccounted for and therefore missing. So thank you very much for that intervention. And I think we can come back to you with a few questions that I have seen in the chat box.